I'm riding the motorcycle.
My name is Couch Coop and welcome back to another episode of When Ubisoft Was Good. So I'm in that Ubisoft app because I'm doing this Far Cry 4 stuff, right? And the Wildlands thumb just keeps looking at me, it keeps talking to me. It's like, I was on PlayStation 4 years ago. They never gave me a PlayStation 5 version, and I'm just sitting here, ready to be played on your PC on Ultra, all inclusive of your Game Pass subscription fee. It didn't go on for that long, but you get what I'm talking about. Thomas Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, or GRW we're going to call it for sanity's sake. It's an open world Splinter Cell with vehicles. It's not, I'm overselling that. If it was that, then it would be massive still. This kind of fizzled out a little bit. It had a few competitors the following year. It was a big deal. Ghost Recon games traditionally didn't have a massive expansion map and that go anywhere psychology. This is almost like a military Breath of the Wild. You are looking at 1080p and everything up to maximum apart from the draw distance. That's the only thing that's on high as opposed to ultra. It gave me so much more smooth performance when things got really busy. For some reason, I suffered drops when stuff went off the hook. It goes off the hook quite a lot.
We'll leave a marker so the rebels can pick up the supplies later.
For some reason, don't you mean that it's barely running on that GTX 1660 at Ultra at 1080? Yeah, so this is quite a thirsty game for the year, and people with big PCs must have had a great time with it on launch.
Let's roll!
This is actually available on Extra over on the Sony side, and I distinctly remember firing it up about 7 months ago, and just being disgusted with its performance. But I was being quite harsh, I feel. Put this on the SSD with a little bit of ray tracing, run it at 4K, give you 60 frames per second. I think loads of people would jump back into this game.
Good to go.
I know I've been mucking around a little bit with the analogies, but it does actually feel a little bit like a Creed game with guns. That third person distance and angle is almost identical. You've got your drone, which feels like the Hawk. There's sneaking and tagging and trying to get into big bases without detection. There is no parkour by any stretch, but you have a massive amount of vehicles to dip into. So you're well familiar with what this game requires of you. And you will be taken aback by the sheer size of that map. There's loads of objectives that you can do when you want. There's like clues that then open up a boss, so you sort of work an area, a little bit like Far Cry 5, which they got out in the following year. That cannot be right. That cannot be right. 27th of March 2018. That is right.
You have any info on these gringos? If you know who they work for, if they're mercs hired by another...
Talking of performance, and if it is going to come unstuck, it's going to be when there's about 15 cars on screen or when stuff blows up all the time. But I was quite impressed with this normal day-to-day traversal. It's quite smooth, the cars are bouncy, they're exciting, some of them, and you get all your AI companions sticking their heads out the windows and firing their AKs at anyone who gives you any crap. That is the whole shtick with the game, is that you've got a little team of people that you allocate, tell them to go there, hide behind this thing. You barely find yourself needing them, but it's really cool to set up these assassination chain reaction shots. You tag them through your sights and then you tell them all to shoot everyone. It's okay, I think it's more show than it is actually practical, and I found myself just being the pointed end of the spear on most of the combat scenarios.
Got another tango.
No reason to waste rounds.
Gringos, hijos de su puta madre. Métanles la verga a todos esos putos. ¡Pártenlo!
Shit, they spotted us.
The third-person shooting feels incredibly tight, and if there's an auto-aim on, I'm not too aware of it. Everything feels quite natural when you're aiming down sights. Now here is the addictive part. There is about 19 weapon categories, including shotguns, sniper, submachine guns, massive machine guns, long machine guns, short ones, pistols, proximity mines, upgrades for your drones, 1,000 different pairs of trousers. It's actually really doing it for me on the loot front, but it works with progression. You have to find these little boxes that have got upgrades in. You can't put attachments onto everything, and there's a lot of weapon ownership there. So many skins. It's just amazing. The reasons to turn this game on and log in and have some fun are numerous. Why did I go with a Creed analogy as opposed to a Division 1 or 2 parallel? Well, the thing is, with that game, the divisions, they're quite dense and they're quite street focused, and there's not too much height involved in navigation, and it also loves its interiors and pushing you to cover. This is far more expansive, far more external. It wants you to fly around in a helicopter and tag people from above. It wants you to parachute into an enemy base and slaughter everyone from the inside out. We've all been there. But the loot thing, yeah, undeniable similarities with the Division 1 and 2. But I kind of prefer this stuff. It's not about getting a luminous pair of gloves. This is really about attachments and getting your squad upgraded and help from the old Residencia. They can actually call in your vehicles, fire mortars onto stuff. It does pick and take from quite a lot of previous and present Ubisoft titles, this game. It could almost be described as a greatest hits.
Near the comp gear, watch out!
The idea of this horrendous cartel taking over this whole entire wild land and occupying the villages, the favelas, the little pueblos, and the civilians being still present is kind of weird. They handle it quite well with them getting out of the way of your vehicle, but you will end up shooting some by accident, and not too sure what meter that affects. Not a Red Dead Redemption 2 thing, but you're certainly warned of it. So it's interesting to pluck out a cartel member amongst these cowering civilians. I also found the Trials minigame within here. Not too sure if that's 100% confirmed.
They're on alert.
Let's talk about the delectable Unidad. You may have seen this purple warning come up. There's basically two tiers of authority in this map. You've got the cartel who will drop at a paperclip getting thrown at them, but then you've got this like militant police that are patrolling. They'll be purple on the map, and they are packing some better weaponry, and they've also got some half decent armor on them. They're not walking around in tank tops and flip-flops with their back to you.
Nicely done. With less cartel stations on the air, the rebels will be able to move into the area.
The side quests are going to also suck you in because they come with some reward that may be integral to a gun you're trying to develop, so they're really worth looking at. And when you are shoved into interiors, it does actually cope quite well. There's quite a lot of environment dissipation. You'll see papers flying around. There was one bit where I went down to like a chemistry lab and there was breaking glass everywhere. Quite impressive. Nearly as impressive as this in-game lightning, and I was also taken aback at that dramatic weather and the day and night system looking very healthy. Coop, when are we going to get the dun 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 dun? The what? I think you mean Airwolf. We are going to get in a helicopter in a second, and it's funny because some of them are completely useless and like civilian equipped, and others are like goddamn gunship. So it's a good idea to look out for decent ones. The cartel are normally hiding up something cool, and of course Unidad, the daddies of the decent chopper. There's a few jokes there. The skills stuff again will draw you in because a little bit like a half decent RPG, you can start going down particular routes and developing one thing. It might be a drone, it might be your own personal protection, safety, stamina, sprint speed. There's a nice blank canvas psychology applied to what you want to spend and when you want to spend it. Also, the map pays back on exploration for looking for these points, so the whole thing just works together. Doing cool stuff gives you cool stuff and opens up new cool stuff. Interior to exterior transition.
Enemy activity nearby.
I got one narco, by the church. Yo, cartel
Spotting another
gunman,
tango.
inside the church.
I feel I'm being a little bit harsh on the AI team because they do call out a lot of enemies, they do even mark them for you, and when you're traversing around in a vehicle, if it's got 3 seats, they'll join you and they will be the ones who will proactively be firing at stuff. You can't fire from your car a la GTA. I barely spend any skill points on them, so there is a tree that develops their skills and gives them more punch when it comes to in-game combat and communication with yourself. Let me show you this game under pressure and actually having some performance issues, but I kind of think it's fair enough. I think at one point some antelope run across the road. It's pretty crazy stuff and it's enjoyable to see on a decent setting.
Fire.
Hit to have a shot. Engaging.
Jesus! Oh shit, we've been spotted. That LT's getting away.
The truck's get. Grenade! Grenade!
I think it's safe to say that someone may have thrown a grenade at me after me hitting that pause menu. Little quirks like that make you remember that you are playing a Ubisoft game. I do want to whine a little bit about the lack of top end and supercars in it. I know the front missions don't give you access to all of the amazing stuff, but we could have done with a superbike. We could have done with more of these awesome sports cars. And also the cartel as well. What are they doing riding around topless in a top-down Jeep, right? With me and the squad at large. I mean, it's a death sentence. It's not too dissimilar to the intro of Zoolander.
Enemy reinforcements coming in.
Engaging.
Take cover.
Shit balls. Frag out.
Another observation that did become apparent is that the year 2018 and all of that online compulsory, even PvP psychology flying around with AAA video games. I think that AI companion stuff is very much geared up for online multiplayer slots for your friends, but it copes surprisingly well as a single player offline experience. I think that's probably the main message of the video. Is this worth playing on a PlayStation 4 or even a PlayStation 4 Pro? I think the answer to that is a definite yes. The only reason I turned my nose up at it was because I knew it was over on Game Pass and I could push it slightly higher graphically. It also fits perfectly into this canon of videos I've been making with PS4 games, particularly from Ubisoft, who don't really get the proper PS5 treatment. I would love to see this game on a PlayStation 5. I really have a passion for it after spending at least 2 weeks with it. The whole time I've been doing that Far Cry stuff, I've been jumping back into this because it's so addictive.
Get down before they see you.
Shit balls.
Cover! Get to cover!
I think you've probably played it, and you've probably played it online with some mates, which is awesome. That's probably the best experience to have, particularly in that year of 2017. This was quite ahead of its time with its ideas on vehicles and AI companions and sheer map size, particularly for a Ubisoft game, let's say. Local co-op fans, I have a colossal dollop of content coming up. I've been saving it all. There's 3 huge videos about to drop, and also we cannot help but reminisce over Splinter Cell's amazing split screen, and having that outfit on, it hurts my soul.
We're recording. Audio levels are good. Just make sure you get a good shot of his face.
Guapo, what do you want me to do? Haré lo que quieras.
Pero muy
My name was, of course, Couch Coop, and we do stand on the precipice of the official release to the peasant of Doom Dark Ages. So that may be the next single player game you see on the channel. After that local co-op content, we'll see you down there.
Get away from there. Move.